I am a trustee for the Union Baptist Church here in Elizabeth. And over the last year or so, my pastor and I, Reverend Buffalo, have been talking about disaster preparedness in the church, particularly the perception of the church and the congregation's role in disaster preparedness. So recently he had me contact Future City, and they agreed to work with me in developing a survey so that we could find out from our different congregations what their information was as it related to disaster preparedness. So in talking to Michelle, we decided on the Union Baptist Church and Greater Mount Teeman AME Church here in Elizabeth. And the reason we chose them is because both of them are first in the community and they're both socioeconomically identical. So we chose a date, or first we developed a survey with teammates here. And we actually went out and did the surveys, and we've analyzed the data, and that's what we're going to present to you today in this PowerPoint. So we'll begin with
We conducted this survey on February 22nd. The total participant was 89. Based on the results from the church members at Greater Mount Teeman Church and the Union Baptist Church, the questions that we created was based on their knowledge of natural disasters using the survey maker. What natural disasters can you expect from New Jersey? The warm weather fronts are the power outages, the water shortage, tropical storms, flooding, hurricanes, and fire disasters. And for the cold weather fronts are power outages, ice, flooding, storms, and blizzards. Ways to get warnings: you get from the local news report, text alert, radio, email, and phone chains. Are you prepared?
So are you guys prepared for just in case a natural disaster were to hit you at home? Do you have everything, like the necessary kits or survival tools? Well, I'm not prepared either. But well, we conducted a survey at the Greater Mount Teeman Church and also the Union Baptist Church. And the first question that we asked them was, do you have any emergency preparedness kit that could be used without power? Because most, New Jersey is most likely to get power failures and outages, and you can't use a refrigerator, you can't use things that will require electricity, so you have some kind of backup. For the responses from both churches are mostly the same. About 40% of people said yes, and about 40% of people said no also. And there were a little over 20% of people saying that they're planning to get one, planning to get some kind of kit that they could use without power. The biggest reason why people probably might not get some kind of emergency disaster kit or anything prepared is because they don't know a lot, they don't know really much of what to do or what to do. They don't really know much about preparing a survival kit. That was most of the responses that we got from both churches. About 40% of people said that. And also the lack of time, because time is a big issue. People are out working or they're doing other things. They have other things in their mind instead of preparing for the future. So that's a big factor also. And also, it's good to hear that a lot of people say they're already prepared for a natural disaster. Above, which includes 7 days of food and water, a flashlight, a portable hand-cranked radio, and emergency contact numbers, just in case, to see how it's like with other people, family members. Prepared. So a lot of the reason is lack of time to prepare. Time is a big issue because we don't have enough time to do a lot of things. Also, a lot of people don't really know enough about starting a survival kit to even get started. And also, a lot of people believe that the local government will take care of them. So we have to like be dependent on ourselves. We have to be independent because not always the government is going to focus on like small issues that could have been avoided if you guys were to take out the time to figure. Yes, they do believe their church has to play a role and does play a role when natural disaster happens, which is like their church is they're like pretty much relying on their church to be there for them, as well as the government. And they were the follow-up question was, what assistance will your church provide? And the answers we got were that the church should provide food, water, clothing, lodging, and financial help. So that's what the majority of the people agreed on. If you see, they had all of the above. Yeah.
This is a key slide because what this is saying is that they're not prepared and they're expecting the church or the city to provide assistance in their recovery.
And then we like to raise awareness on how to be prepared, basically prepared to survive. If you are prepared, you will avoid all this chaos that happened. Like for example, when Hurricane Sandy happened, the line to get gas, it went like down the road and people started fighting because they were oh, I was in front of you, and then that's how violence starts. So if you're not prepared, all these things can happen. Be more chaotic. And now, how to prepare. You have to determine what type of disaster it could be. You could have a short-term disaster, which we like to say is 18 hours or less, or a long-term disaster, which is over 18 hours, and you can be relocated, like what happened with Hurricane Katrina. Most of the people weren't prepared, and they had to get relocated to another facility. So pretty much, you have to figure out what you need for 18 hours or less, or relocation in long term. And now, this is the part where I want to ask you, what do you think goes into your disaster bag, which would be a short term, less than 18 hours. So what do you think should be like, what do you need to survive in 18 hours?
Water.
Okay, water.
Food and shelter.
Okay.
A flashlight.
Correct. A flashlight. Any suggestions?
Maybe food for batteries.
Okay.
I was gonna say batteries.
Batteries.
I'm surprised all the church members didn't say Bibles.
Medicine, okay, for 18 hours. If you have like any type of heart disease or anything, you might need medicine. If you have something. Duct tape. You're getting it. So that's pretty much an idea of what we might need for 18 hours. Do you have another? Lotion? Okay. And now we like to compare with having a backpack for a long term, because you never know the disasters for a long term. You might need to be relocated, so you have it in your backpack. You just throw it on your back and leave. And having a backpack is essential because of the fact that it goes around your back, so you don't have to be carrying it, and it won't be like much of a hassle. So you can have it with you. And people that are disabled, like for example, someone in a wheelchair could just put it on their lap, and it won't spill all over the place like a bag will. So what do you think you'll need for like 18 hours or more? A blanket, okay. Water is always essential. But what kind of water? Like, would you carry like a gallon of water? Wouldn't that be too heavy? So we'd like to say, what we recommend is we use the refillable ones, the canisters. You carry it with you, so in case of a disaster, there's always the first aid that you help and all that stuff. So they always have water, so you can just go and refill your water bottle and not only have carry like a big gallon of water with you and such. What else goes in long term? Okay.
Like one of those cool crank up radios.
Okay, that's long term.
To say where what's going on.
What else? What about a first aid kit?
That's what I was
What if
gonna
you
say.
want to carry like a little first aid kit with you? You can put your medicine in that, all that stuff. And like Nick said duct tape. So, what can we use duct tape for? What can we use duct tape for? Windows, okay, insulation. Okay. Duct tape is essential in like basically any natural disaster. Like it is so useful. You can waterproof your shoes with duct tape. Believe it or not, if you wrap duct tape around your shoes, they become waterproof. Therefore, you won't really get shoes seeping in, water seeping inside your shoes. Duct tape can also help you like, it's a, you can use it as a band-aid almost. And if you open up your skin, like if you cut it, you can kind of like put it back and glue it with duct tape would help your skin close again. So it's pretty useful in all of these situations. And then if you're well prepared, like I said, it's chaos. So we need to be prepared for natural disasters and be aware of what's going to happen. This is supposed to represent. No, it's not.